Hello guys, in this session we'll be solving the graded assignment of English 1 subject of week 2 content, right? So let's begin. Let us begin with our first question. So what does the first question ask us? It says identify the part of speech of the underlined word, right? So we have to identify the part of speech of the underlined word. So the underlined word here being courage, we have to identify to which category of part of speech does this word belongs to, right? So we also have a few options here. We have adjective, we have adverb, we have noun, and at last we have verb. So let us have a look at first whether the word courage belongs to the category of adjective, right? So first of all, what are adjectives? Let us have a look on that. So adjective, let me just write it in a short form way. So adjective, right? So these adjectives are basically words that describe or give information about a noun or a pronoun, right? So adjectives are words that describe or give info about a noun or a pronoun, right? So is courage, so let me tell you first of all what does courage mean. So the word courage is the name, right? The word courage is a name given for doing something we know is dangerous or risky, right? So courage basically is the name given for doing something we know is going to be dangerous or risky, right? So it is basically a name given for showing off your bravery, right? It is a name, right? So here we get to know that courage is a name, right? Here we get to know that courage is a name. So let us have a look at our sentence once again. So the sentence is, she was honored for her courage. Courage here being a name. Right? Courage is a name. Courage is a name which is given for doing something we know is dangerous or risky, right? So courage here will not be an adjective. Courage here, as it is a name, will belong to the group of nouns, right? So noun would be the correct option here. Well, there is another version of this word called courageous. So this word is an adjective. So this word here is an adjective. How? Let me show that by giving you guys an example, right? So let me say Sita is a courageous. So Sita is a courageous girl, right? So here courageous is an adjective. Here courageous, the word courageous is an adjective as it is describing or giving information about a noun, and the noun here being Sita, right? So what do adjectives do? Adjectives give information about a noun or a pronoun. So we have the noun here Sita, and the word courageous is giving information about Sita, that Sita is a courageous girl, right? So the word courageous is an adjective here. So the word courageous is an adjective here, and the word courage is a noun, right? And the word courage is a noun. So hope I'm clear with my explanation, right? So this was an easy question. So let us move on to the next slide. Let us move on to the second question here. So what does the second question say? It's a similar type of question to that of the first question. Like the first question and the second question are both similar type of questions. So here again we have identify the part of speech of the underlined word, and we have the sentence Catherine was worried about her work. So was being the underlined word here, so we have to find the category to which the category of part of speech to which this word belongs to. So we also have a few examples: abstract noun, verb, noun, and at last adverb. So let us see first of all if the word was belongs to abstract noun. So what are abstract nouns? So nouns so nouns have two categories. One is the countable nouns, and the second one is uncountable nouns, right? First one being the countable nouns, second one being the uncountable nouns, right? So now under uncountable nouns we have again abstract nouns, and another we have material nouns, material nouns, right? So under abstract nouns we have few examples, like abstract nouns are names. So these are basically names which have no physical existence. Like for example, if you take the word gravity, this thing gravity doesn't exist physically, right? And is also uncountable. Like you can't count gravity, right? Like how much it is, right? And let us take another example, like the word goodness. Here also goodness does not exist physically, and it is also not countable, it is uncountable, right? So both gravity and goodness belong to abstract nouns, right? So now you guys should answer me, is the word was an abstract noun? Come on guys, this one is a easy one. So first of all, was is not a name, right? First of all, was is not a name, right? So if was is not a name, it does not even come under the category of nouns. So these are all of no meaning to it, right? If was, nouns are all names, right? Nouns are all names. So if was is not a name, it does not come under the category of nouns, right? So these things hold no value for the word was, right? So clearly here was is not an abstract noun. So let us see if was is a verb. So what are verbs? As I explained in the last video, verbs are words that describe the action or say about a state of a thing, right? So verbs are words that describe action or a state of a thing. These are called verbs, right? So under verbs we have again two categories. We have main verb, and we have another thing called auxiliary verbs. Right? Verbs. So we have main verb and we have auxiliary verbs. So here if you see the sentence Catherine, so Catherine here is a noun, and here if you see worried is a verb, as it is as the word is describing the state of a thing, and the thing here being the subject, Catherine. So this word is describing about the state of Catherine, and it is saying that she is worried, right? She is worried about her work, right? So this is a verb. And what are auxiliary verbs? Auxiliary verbs are nothing but these are the words these are the words that help a verb. These are the words that help a verb. Words that help a verb are called auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are also called as helping words. Auxiliary verbs are also called as helping words. Right? Okay, so if we come back to the sentence here, so was, what do you think? Is was a verb? Like, is it helping any verb? Just let us have a look at the sentence again. Catherine was worried. So was worried. You can see a clear connection between was and worried. Like, if we say Catherine worried, if we say Catherine worried about her, if we say Catherine worried about her work, this would not sound right? So like there is something you feel missing between the word Catherine and worried, right? So here the word or the helping verb was fills in the gap and gives a good meaning. And now if you try to say the whole sentence, this sentence sounds to be something meaningful or sounds to be good, right? So we have was as a helping verb. This is a helping verb, and which verb is it helping? It is helping the verb worried, right? Was worried, right? Was is helping the word worried, so this is called a helping verb. So, and under which category does the subcategory helping verb comes under? So the helping verb comes under the category of verb. So here verb would be a right option for us, right? So with this, let us move on to the next question. I hope I was clean and clear with my explanation, and hope you guys have no doubt regarding this question. So let us move on to the next question. So what do we have in our third question? So what does our third question say? Select the correct pronoun, right? They are asking us to select the correct pronoun, and the sentence being the bus came to a halt by dash. Like, this is a fill in the blank type of question. So we just have two options here, himself and itself, right? There are two options here, himself and itself. So pronoun, right? So what are pronouns? So let me explain what are pronouns by giving an example instead of giving a theoretical definition. So pronouns like say Raj. Raj is a good. Raj is a good guy. And the continuation of this sentence being Raj takes care of his old mother, right? So Raj is a good boy. Raj takes so let me just add as Raj is a good boy as Raj takes care of his old mother. So if you see this sentence, so there are like two repetitions of a noun. Here you can see Raj is a name, so is a noun. So again if you see here Raj is a name, so is a noun, right? And also mother is also a noun, right? So we have repetitions, right? Raj, and again here Raj at the beginning of the new sentence. So we have two Rajas. So can we do something like so that we can remove, so like we can get rid of this second Raj, so that the sentence sounds more in a proper way. So like for this reason we have words called prepositions. For this reason we have words called prepositions. So prepositions are basically he, she, they, them, and we, and etc., right? So these are some of the prepositions. So like instead of again using the same name which is getting repeated, we can use these prepositions, right? We can use these prepositions to make the sentence sound much better, right? Prepositions make the sentence sound much better, right? So what do you guys think, which among these two prepositions will fit in here, will fit in this fill in the blank? So himself means like a guy, the word himself belongs to a guy or a boy or a male, right? Or a male. Like a guy himself drew a car. The boy himself completed the homework. The sorry, here it should not be male, it should be men. We men okay, we doesn't come under himself, right? A guy and a boy, the word himself belongs to a guy or a boy, right? This word belongs to a human, Like when we are describing a human, we use this word. So this word is used for describing humans, and this word itself is used for describing things, right? This word is used for describing things. So now I want to ask you guys, is bus a human? Is bus a human or a thing? Is bus a human or a thing? So bus is a thing, right? It's non-living object, right? So what do you guys think would be appropriate to use and fill this empty blank over here? So of course, with no doubt, all of you guys will agree with me that the word itself would sound appropriate in this blank over here, right? So the word itself would be appropriate, and option B would be our correct answer here, right? So let us move on to the next question. What do we have in our fourth question? So select the appropriate option. Again we have a fill in the type of again we have a fill in the blank type of question. So what does the sentence say? Golconda Fort is the dash site I saw in Hyderabad. So this would be an easy question for the native speakers of English. Never mind, I will explain you guys how to solve this question, right? So Golconda Fort is the dash site I saw in Hyderabad. So Golconda Fort is the amazing fort I saw in Hyderabad, or is it like so like if you guys use a bit of general knowledge, like there is no specific explanation about how to answer this type of questions. Like even if I have to explain you guys again, I have to bring in the whole content of the IIT portal videos and start teaching from the basic. So like this coaching is not designed for that. This coaching is designed for you guys to get solutions quickly. So these type of questions are generally answered by using general knowledge, and there is no rocket science in this. So most amazing would not sit in the fill in the blank properly, making a sentence. Like if you hear the sentence Golconda Fort is the more amazing, so more amazing here would mean a few this whole phrase is in a future tense, right? This whole phrase is in a future tense, right? More amazing. Golconda Fort is the more amazing. Like this, it means that you are still about to see the remaining forts, right? Oh sorry, you are still about to see the remaining fort, Golconda Fort, which will be Golconda Fort, right? So as amazing, like if you guys were to use as amazing, so as amazing is actually a predefined phrase, so this actually sounds like as amazing as, but you guys don't have any as in front of this, so you guys don't have any as in front of this blank, which will help completing the phrase as amazing as, right? So this would be a wrong option. This would also sound to be wrong and is also a wrong option. Like if you use this, the sentence would sound wrong. Like this is a general knowledge. This is a easy question for native speakers. And Golconda Fort is the amazing sight I saw would also be a wrong option. Like this sentence, if I use amazing in this sentence, if I use amazing word in this sentence, what would I actually mean? I would mean that there is only one fort in the whole of Hyderabad city, right? I would mean that there is only one fort in the whole of Hyderabad city I saw, and that that would be my amazing fort, of course, right? And that would be my amazing fort, right? So like these type of questions are usually for native speakers. So here most amazing would be an appropriate option for this question and is the correct option, right? So let us move on to the next slide. Let us move on to the fifth question. So what does fifth question say? It says identify the part of speech of the underlined word. Sorry guys, here the underlined word actually is the word red, right? The underlined word is red. So is red an adverb? So let me just read out the sentence first. The red balloon floated away, right? So is the word red an adverb? So what are adverbs actually? So what are adverbs? Adverbs are those words that give information about verbs, adjectives or adverbs themselves. So adverbs are words that give information about verbs, adjectives or adverbs themselves. So let me just give a quick example here of adverbs. So a quick example would be he sings he sings well, right? So here the word well is an adverb. So here the word well is an adverb. So you guys might ask me, why is the word well, this is well guys, these are double L. So you guys might ask me, why is the word well an adverb, right? So adverbs, these words which are adverbs, these words generally answer questions. So these generally answer questions of the questions such as what type of questions, like what did you have for breakfast, or why type of questions, example, why did you not come to school today, or how type of questions, or where type of questions, as in where did you go yesterday. So these adverbs are words which usually answer questions such as what type of questions, as in what did you have for lunch today, or questions of type why, for example, why did you not come to school today. Questions also of the type how, where, and etc. So adverbs adverbs are the words which generally answer such type of questions. So here if you consider this sentence, he sings well, here the word well being a adverb answers the question how does he sing, right? So here the word well answers a how type of question, the question being how does he sing, right? So the word well here is an adverb, as it is answering a how type of question, right? So so here if you consider this sentence, is red answering any type of these kinds of questions, no, right? Red is just a name of a color, right? But if you see red being a name, but if you see it's actually a name of a color, but if you see how the word red is used in this sentence, the red balloon is our object, the red balloon floated being an action is floated being a state of a thing is a verb, floated away. So the red balloon floated away. So is red an adjective? So what do adjectives mean? I just explained you guys what does adjective mean, right? So you guys must be able to get some idea about this. So adjectives right? So adjectives describe are words that describe or give information about a noun or a pronoun, right? So adjectives are words that describe or give information about noun or a pronoun, right? So here if you see, adjectives are words. So red is a word that describes or gives information about a noun or a pronoun. So if you look out for nouns or pronouns here, nouns or pronouns in this sentence, balloon is a noun, right? Balloon is a noun. And red, is red describing something about this noun balloon? Is it describing something, guys? Yes, it is. It is describing the word red is describing the color of our noun, so here noun being balloon, right? So red is the word which is describing the property color of our noun balloon, right? So red is clearly an adjective here, right? Red is clearly an adjective here. So this was also a sort of easy question. I hope you guys got a clear idea about what adverbs and adjectives are, right? So moving on to the next slide and the next question. We have the sixth question here. So what does sixth question say? So what does sixth question ask us about? So this is again an identify type of question. So identify the adverb in the following sentence. So the sentence being, she was softly singing to the baby. So sentence is, she was softly singing to the baby, right? So we have options here, baby, singing, softly, and she. So if we closely examine this sentence, we will be able to make out different parts of speech present in this sentence, like as in she being noun and was being a verb and singing also being a verb, as it is showing an action, as it is representing an action being done. So, and at last we have baby as our object, and this she is our subject, right? She is our subject and baby is our object, and baby is also a noun, right? Baby is also a noun. So identify the adverbs. So what are adverbs again? So what are adverbs again? So what are adverbs again, guys? So adverbs are words that give information about uh, a verb, right, or an adjective, or adverbs, or give information about adverbs themselves, right? So adverbs are words that give information about, it may be a verb, it may be information about a verb, or information about an adjective, or information about adverbs themselves, right? So such kinds of words are called adjective, right? So here let us have a look which word in this sentence is giving information about a verb or an adjective or an adverb. So here we have a verb. So let us check if any word is giving information about this word, about this verb. Let us see if there is any other word which is giving information about this verb. So clearly you can see she is a noun, was is a verb, softly is a word for now, to is also a word, the is an article. So if you see here, softly singing, so like these both words, softly and singing, are somewhat connected, right? Yes. So here softly, so here the word softly is describing or giving a much detailed information about what? About a verb, which here is the word singing, right? Which here is the word singing. So the word softly is describing, right, or giving additional information or detailed information about a verb, which here is singing, right? Which here is singing. So adverb is a word which gives information about a verb, adjective or adverb. So we have got ourselves a word describing or giving information about a verb here. So softly should be adverb. So softly, the word softly should be our adverb, right? This was also a kind of easy question, kind of moderate question, I would say, right? People having in-depth knowledge about adverbs and adjectives would find this question, would solve this question quite easily, I assume. So I hope you guys don't have any doubts regarding this question, right? So let us move on to the next slide and on to the next question. So we have the seventh question here. So we have the seventh question. So what does the seventh question say? Choose the appropriate option. So this is a fill in the blank type of question. So the statement we have here is she is dash European. Okay, let me explain you guys about how this question should be solved, right? So she is dash European. She is dash European. So we have set of articles here, and we also have an option which states no article, right? So we have three articles. We have the set of articles, a, an, and the, right? So any one of these three should be our right option for this fill in the blank. So let us have a look at the statement once again. So most of you guys would come up with she is an European, seeing the first word of the word European being an oval. So most of you guys would say using an would be appropriate here in this fill in the blank. But we don't use the articles a or an with by saying, we don't use a or an by seeing the letters, like if they are vowels or consonants. Like we don't decide whether to use an or an by seeing just the letter of the next word, whether it is an over or consonants. Instead, we determine the use of an or the letter a by hearing the sound of the next word, not by the letter. So by hearing the sound, the first sound coming up of the very next word, I would say. So like whether to use an or a or the letter a would be determined by hearing the first sound of the following word. So like here the following word is European, right? So like if you just pay close attention while pronouncing the word European, the first sound that comes up is U, not E. It's not European. Like if it was European, surely you should be using the article an behind it. But here the sound of European, right? European, but this sound, European, right? The sound of U is coming at the beginning of the word, right? So while in such cases we consider this as a consonant, as the sound of Y is a diphthong, and the sound of Y is diphthong, and which belongs to the consonants, which also belongs to consonants. We use, therefore we use article. Which article do we use for consonants? A, right? So for diphthongs or diphthongs, doesn't matter. So for diphthongs, if there is a sound of diphthong coming up at the beginning of the following word of an article, we use the letter A. In such cases we use the letter A as an article, right? So here you can clearly see the sound of U coming up at the beginning of the pronunciation of the word European, right? We pronounce it as European, right? European, right? So at the beginning the sound of U, which is U, which is also a diphthong, right? This is a diphthong and also belongs to the set of consonants, right? So in such cases we use the article A, right? So here the first option, A, would be the right option. I mean, A would be the appropriate article. A would be the appropriate article to use for this fill in the blank. Hope I am clear with this question. So moving on to the next question. So we have choose the appropriate option. So this is a fill in the blanks type of question. So the sentence we have been given is the doctor gave me a prescription dash my headache, right? So we have four options: with, at, to and for, right? So this is also a general knowledge based question, I would say. So like the doctor gave me a prescription dash my headache. So you can just try inserting all these words. You can try inserting all these words in the blank and see which of these words would sit in perfectly and give a desirable meaning to the whole sentence, right? So if we try with the first word, with, so this sentence would become the doctor gave me a prescription with my headache. So this with here would not sound appropriate, like the native English speakers here would be able to make out that the word with would not perfectly sit in this blank to give a desirable meaning to the sentence, right? So like with would be a wrong option here. If at so now we can go with at. So if we use at now again, the sentence would become the doctor gave me a prescription at my headache. So this would also not sound appropriate, right? So this would also not sound appropriate, like the doctor gave me a prescription. If here instead of headache we had okay, here instead of headache if we had home, this sentence would make sense, like it would be the doctor gave me a prescription at my home, or even house. Even if it was house, it would be correct. It would seem meaningful. It would be a meaningful sentence if we had home or house instead of the word headache, right? Then using at would be an appropriate option. So as of now we don't have home or house as the words. We have headache as the ending word. So the doctor gave me a prescription at my headache. So like this sentence just doesn't make any sense, right? So at would also be a wrong option here. And if we try to use to here, again it would be the doctor gave me a prescription to my headache. Would also not seem like meaningful, like this sentence doesn't make any sense, like the doctor gave me a prescription to my headache. This would not make any sense. So like 2 would also be a wrong option. So now at last, if you try to use for, the sentence would come up to be the doctor gave me a prescription for my headache. For my headache, right? Now if you go through the sentence again, the doctor gave me a prescription for किस if I try to explain in Hindi, डॉक्टर ने मुझे एक प्रिस्क्रिप्शन दिया, किस लिए मतलब ये फॉर यूज करना पड़ेगा, राइट? सो द डॉक्टर गेव मी अ प्रिस्क्रिप्शन फॉर, किस लिए, इधर फॉर इस्तेमाल करना पड़ेगा. इधर आएगा क्वेश्चन किस लिए, तब आपको बोलना पड़ेगा फॉर माई हेडेक, right? For my headache. इसलिए दिया, like why did he give the prescription of medicine? Like for what reason, or for what problem? So he gave the prescription for my or your headache, right? For your headache. So this was also a easy question. So let us move on to the next question. So next question says, next question being the ninth question, choose the appropriate option, right? So again, fill in the blanks type of question. Both Ajay dash Sanjay are intelligent. So both Ajay or Sanjay this would not make any sense. This would not make any sense, right? This would not make any sense, right? So if you try even using nor here, so both Ajay nor Sanjay, this would also not make any sense out of the sentence, right? And if you try adding even since, so like both Ajay and Sanjay, and this is the rest of the sentence. And if you try adding here since, so now if you try making some sense out of the sentence, both Ajay since Sanjay are intelligent, no, this sentence would also not make any sense, right? This would also not make any sense, right? So all these three above, even or, in the case of or, would not make any sense. So all these cases above would not make any sense out of the sentence. So the only option we are left with and. So if you fill in the blank with the word and, so now if we try, so now both Ajay dash Sanjay are intelligent, right? Now if we try inserting and here, right? Now if we try inserting and here, now this sentence would make some sense, like both Ajay and Sanjay, right? Ajay and Sanjay, like these two guys, Ajay and Sanjay are intelligent, right? Now this whole sentence would make some sense, right? Now this whole sentence will make some sense, right? So option C, which is and, would be an appropriate option here. So let us move on to the next question and the final question. This is our 10th question and the last question for this session. So what is the question? So dash coffee taster had his tongue insured. Insured means covered by an insurance. Covered by an insurance, right? So insured means that something is covered by an insurance, like my bike. You can say my bike is insured. You can say my bike is insured, which means my bike is covered by an insurance, right? So you can say my bike is covered by an insurance. So insured means covered by an insurance. So dash coffee taster. So coffee taster, this guy is a person, right? This guy is a person who works for companies, who works for big companies, and his job is to taste, the, not quite sure what does he tastes. I think he tastes the coffee powder, or by mixing coffee powder and milk, he tastes the flavor of the coffee. What does he taste? Flavor of coffee powder. So there are these kind of guys who are hired just to taste the flavor of coffee powder, and these kinds of guys, what they do is they take an insurance. They take an insurance for their well-being, for the well-being of their tongue. So if something happens to their tongue, these insurance company guys can cover them up, right? So insurance company guys will pay them if something happens to their tongue. So if the tongue T-O-N-G-U-E, if the tongue gets damaged, these insurance company guys will pay for him. So coming back to the question, dash coffee taster, the coffee taster is a person, had his tongue insured. So the coffee taster had his tongue covered. This means covered by an insurance for how much of money did he take the insurance? He took it for 10 million, right? He took the insurance for 10 million, right? M means million, right? 10 million pounds, right? So we have a coffee taster who is a person who got his tongue insured for 10 million. Not sure is he paying 10 million or he will get paid 10 million. Okay, I'm not sure about that. For 10 million means he should be paying, right? So okay, that's a secondary thing. If you see here, dash coffee taster had his tongue insured for 10 million pounds, right? So we have two options here. We should an or a. So we have these two articles here. So these two are articles, right? These two are articles. So we must choose an appropriate article for this blank, right? We must choose an appropriate article for this blank. So we have we can clearly see there is a consonant sound while we try to pronounce coffee. Like while we try to pronounce coffee, we come up with the sound of KO, right? Coffee, right? So clearly you can say that the sound, the first sound being consonant sound, right? Consonant sound, we should be using the article a in here, right? So option B, article a would be the right option. So option B, that is article a, would be the right option here, right? So with this question we have solved all of the graded assignment questions of week 2 English 1. So that's it, guys.